Welcome back to more Foxes Live. We're joined by Charlie Jacoby of the Field Sports Channel. Very welcome to Foxes Live.
Thank you, Mark.
Now, we've been surprised by the vehemence of some of the comments about foxes. Not many, but those that dislike them really dislike them. What's your position on foxes?
Well, I think we're in a difficult position with fox shooting, fox hunting, because we have sort of double reaction to foxes. We can do are cute, and your fox cubs, Brian, are absolutely immeasurably cute, but we also think vermin bang. Now, we're coming from a rural point of view here mainly. This is probably not appropriate for the urban fox, and you've covered this very well. I think as far as the sort of enfranchisement of our lot is concerned, I think the problem we have with urban foxes, the way you've been covering them, is the difference between pets and wildlife, and we're not seeing enough of a distinction here. These foxes seem to be treated more as pets than wildlife.
So why are you saying vermin? Just define why you see the foxes that are in our towns and cities as vermin.
Well, this has been a fantastic programme for teaching people the vernacular about foxes. You've seen people have fox problems in their gardens, but not many of them. Now, as in rural areas where I live in West Somerset, for example, we have a pheasant release pen, we have a lambing field, I have a chicken run. All of us have lost livestock from foxes, and we have a very clear distinction between foxes, wildlife, manage the species, keep a good, healthy population of foxes, but livestock and pets look after the individual, and when they come and take my chickens, I will go and nail that fox. OK,
so why then are you posting on the internet a video that's been shown, and we're going to have a look at it now. It's doing the rounds, and it's pretty shocking and damning on foxes. Just talk me through your video.
All right, well, first of all, this is not shocking and damning on foxes. I'm not trying to monster a fox with this video. This is taken by a guy called Dave. He's a pest controller in South London. One Wednesday night, 14 foxes went through his garden. Now, he's a very even view of foxes, but he's worried that because people are feeding them locally, unlike what Phil said about the reaction foxes have, they don't come back and smother you with kisses if you feed them.
But that's you're simulating a baby being in that pushchair.
That's
so what
right.
You're saying in this video is that you need to be frightened of this, because if you leave your baby in a pushchair in your garden, this is what's going to happen.
No, we're saying...
That's what I'm saying.
That's what's happening there. What we're saying is if you feed foxes, expect them to come back and bite you. We're monstering the people who feed the foxes. We're not doing anything nasty about foxes.
OK, but it's actually a piglet, isn't it?
It is actually a piglet, yes. It's not a real baby. And that is actually
a dead piglet?
It is a dead piglet. We had a couple of dead piglets, and they came and took two. And we're playing...
Dressed in a baby grow.
Dressed in a baby grow. So it's
with the sound of a child crying.
Covered of human scent, making human noises in a human pram, and still the fox comes and takes it.
In spite of the fact that there's absolutely microscopic evidence of any human interaction, children being bitten, taken out.
We've just seen the evidence there.
What evidence is that? Why did you do this puerile video? What point are you actually making then?
We're making the point that if you feed foxes, they're going to bite you. They're not going to reward you with love.
Dead pigs dressed up as babies.
No, I think you're muddling pets and wildlife again.
I don't think I'm muddling anything. Aren't you? I mean, you seem like a nice chap, but you're a member of the Countryside Alliance, right? And this is a piece of propaganda, right?
No, it's not a piece of propaganda. This
is
a film that was put up by a pest controller in South London who wanted to see what happened when he did this. We told him how to shoot the video. He did a very good job. We're very impressed.
But it doesn't mirror real life in any regard.
It is real life. You just
What
saw
is
it.
your point?
Our point is that if you feed foxes, then they will come back and bite you. They won't kiss you.
But that doesn't demonstrate that in any way
whatsoever. That doesn't agree with any of the evidence we have.
It's just a fox trying to find food.
We have hundreds of people up and down the country who've been feeding foxes for years in some instances. Is the fox does know the distance. It will not, just because you put food out, it will not bite you. The number of alleged attacks by foxes is exceedingly small. The number of verified attacks is absolutely minuscule.
Okay,
so this kind of notion of having food in proximity to your house and to you immediately is going to result in an attack or a bite is just not sort of verified by any of the data that exists anywhere.
Just up there
no, what you're saying here is that this fox is smelling a piglet
It's smelling a baby grow.
It's smelling meat.
It's hearing the noise of the baby crying.
How do you it should run away
Hold on a second. Phil, just continue that, Phil.
What you're saying, just because you cover
actually.
it in a baby grow, is that the scent of the meat is going to come through, and that fox will know that.
Well, for you know what foxes are like. They're cautious.
I do know
go
what
forward, go back, go forward, go back all the time.
I have 3 children. I would not think twice about leaving my child in a garden with foxes, expecting it to happen, even where they're being fed.
That's correct.
I've had my small children in close proximity to foxes, and they're not interested.
So Charlie, it's not. I mean, you know, a video like that, you've been involved in it, even if you didn't make it.
Yes, we have been involved.
You were involved in it. You clearly think it's completely justifiable. But is it really, in the light of what you've seen of the discussions that we've had here on this programme, the kind of expert views we've got here, actually not great in terms of giving a true perspective of what foxes are like?
I mean, the key thing here is that it's pulled the baby grow off, which is the human scent. It's ignoring it. It's going for the meat, which it recognises as food.
Yes, but it's pulled the human baby grow off. It's pulled out of a human pram.
Do you eat bacon yourself?
Bacon, yes.
Oh, you do. So you like the smell of it, and you'd go for it as well, would you?
Yes, I would. But
so why is the fox bad for doing the same thing? If it's
the fox is bad for doing the same thing because it's ignoring the baby grow, which smells of humans. It's ignoring the pram, which is a human pram.
That's a good thing. Then. It's not going to bite us, is it? Then
it's. No, I think you're missing the point. We're not trying to monster the fox.
I think this says a lot more about you than about foxes.
I can't see, honestly, I can't see how you can support that and say you're not actually trying to give a bad image to foxes, because I can't see what else you're trying to say. I mean, Tim,
it's pretty anthropomorphic, isn't it, to invest a dead piglet, which is decaying, which we know that foxes will predate. I mean, one of the reasons they cache chickens, for instance, when they've had a large, they bury them, and the advice is don't use blood, fish and bone fertiliser on your beds, because they misinterpret that as being, oh, there must be a dead carcass under. That piglet will have smelt to a fox like prime food for supper. And I think to put it in a baby group, to put it in a pram, to play that soundtrack is just wholly inappropriate, not real.
Inappropriate?
Totally, because I don't think it matches real life
in
any way whatsoever. And as we've heard and as we've seen, and I know the study's going to show us when we get the results tomorrow, the idea that people, especially children, Phil's perfect example, are going to regularly fall victim to these creatures is just nonsense.
We're not saying they're going to regularly fall victim to them, but this is what happens if you feed foxes. I did expect to be torn apart by angry fox lovers on this programme, but that's
we're not. Hang on, we're not angry fox lovers. I think we're giving a pretty balanced view of the science and the evidence surrounding foxes. That's the aim of this programme, this whole event, is to be able to say to people, foxes live in and around our communities. We want you to understand them. So whether you love them or loathe them, you respect them and you understand them more. That is why we're here. What we're worried about, and I think it's a very reasonable view, is this actually honest and real? And the power of, particularly on YouTube and so on, when these clips are going around, lots of people see them, potentially can do a lot of damage. And I mean, Dawn, from your point of view,
damage to what? Sorry,
well, damage to the reputation, the truth about that's the
fox has got a rap sheet as long as you're on.
People are worried about. Some people are very worried about foxes coming into their garden, and understandably so. And it's important that they understand what the genuine risks are. I think just moving slightly wider. I mean, Dawn, it's interesting, isn't it, how foxes totally divide opinion in terms of you kind of love them or hate them. Yeah. We'll see later on kind of how people's views are changing. But it's as a creature, it is fascinating how the fox has this effect on us.
Yeah, well, we get it all around the world in terms of conflict with carnivores. I mean, our relationship with foxes isn't just a single example. We have it all over the place in terms of carnivores, and it's when it comes in conflict where it's taking our space and we're trying to sort of, it ends up in conflict. And what we're trying to do is look at where the conflict occurs, why it occurs, what is the reason, and try and turn that conflict into sort of coexistence so that people aren't affected, so we can do things to stop that conflict happening. And also, if we change our behaviour, maybe look after our houses and livestock and everything better, then we might not have that conflict, and then the foxes would be better off, and we will be better off. So instead of having this reactory response, maybe we should start looking at understanding the behaviour of our behaviour and the fox behaviour, so that the two can live together rather than in exclusion. It just seems crazy to have it's either us or them rather than saying, well, we can both work together.
We don't think that. I think you're absolutely right. And what this programme has done has been magnificent in that respect. But they are wildlife, they're not pets. That's the thing to remember.
Listen, sorry to pull you away from that discussion, but we're inside the Isha den at the moment. A bit of chewing going on there. Don't know whether that is a piece of food or just chewing on something. That eye shine is absolutely amazing. They are such great pictures, aren't they?
Charlie, I don't want to slag you off. You know, you seem like you're a decent kind of chap, but you know, is there a hidden agenda here? Is there a sort of feeling that you want to make people afraid of foxes so that it will be more acceptable to go fox hunting?
No, not at all. No, if your responsibility to wildlife is to the species, your responsibility to pets, livestock, is to the individual, okay? So if we're going to look after foxes, we have to look after all of them. If we're going to look after your dog, you look after one. So if I run over a dog, for example, horror, I will take it to Mark, I'll take it to a vet. If I run over a fox, there are lots of them. I will knock it on the head. The only exception to this is if you have a really endangered species.
Why? I just say why. Why is one animal
your
different to another?
responsibility is to the species, not to the individual. With
why? Know that your responsibility is to every living creature. What's the matter with you?
Well, I think
why don't I just treat you as a species, and you know, a few of you can get killed, but some of you survive. That would be fun. Why would you say that? Why would you say that an individual animal?
I'm going to have to hold you there a second. What I would say is I'd like you to leave here tonight and actually think very carefully about trying to get that video pulled, because I don't think it is fair on foxes. But we're going to see our results from our foxometer. Here it is, the great old foxometer, and let's have a look at the results itself, and look at that. Wow. 95% actually are saying we think more of them now as a result of the programme. So perhaps that could influence.
I think that's absolutely right, and this is Urban Foxes Live, so well done.
Cool stuff. We're back on Channel 4 with our final Foxes live at 8 tomorrow, and back here on More 4 at 9. Guys, thank you very much for joining in the discussion. From Battersea, good night.